Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is 4Y4. I'm with Axeman87 today, here on the Running the Rift stream for the CLOL Top 16. One of many matchups we've got going on the various streams. We'll get to all that in just a moment. But we've got Fisher versus CU Boulder ahead of us, and I could not be more excited to be joined by you, Axe, for this matchup. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing so good, dude. It's so good to be back here. Round of 16 national championship for CLOL, the best. Honestly, just the best time in League of Legends you could possibly have. I've been here only once before in 2022. Got some round of 32 casts in there, but of course, been following ever since. It's such a good time. So much pizzazz out here in CLOL, and of course, being here with you as well, 4Y4. It's always a treat.
No, it's a pleasure as always, Axe, man. Let's get a look at that. Like you said, it's been a great tournament. Let's get that bracket up on the screen for you. So we'll take a bit of a broad view before we get into the bracket of the match that we've got going here. You see, there have been a few upsets kind of here and there, but the one that we're looking at here, you see on the top left of your screen there, Maryville is up 2-0 on UCI. That match is going on right now. Game 3 actually might be over by the time we're talking, but that's neither here nor there. What is here and there is Fisher versus CU Boulder. So if Maryville do go on to take that, one of the titans of the CLOL scene will be played against the winner of this game. Again, this is best of 5 territory. So, and the other matchups that we've got going, we'll get into that schedule just a little bit later. On the one on the bottom right there of your screen, Northern versus Western. That one is over already. So that's 3-1. That one is done and dusted. But like I said, today the matchup that we've got going is Fisher versus CU Boulder. Should be a good one here. Let's get the rest of that schedule up on the screen for you so I can just stop rambling about what's going on, and we will see exactly what the rest of the matchups will be today. Because like I said, we had Northwood versus Western on the Salty Runback Pod channel, Maryville versus UCI as well, currently ongoing technically. And then on today, we've got on the Running the Rift stream, Fisher versus CU Boulder. Axe, any of those standing out to you in particular, or I don't know, any surprise results along the way? For me, there hasn't been too many.
For me, CU Boulder has been like standout. Obviously, with the upset into Dallas, I think is a really, really exciting team. We'll go into the roster a little bit more as we get closer to the broadcast team as the main event here. But yeah, really, really exciting team. I mean, the solo laners are really strong. The bot lane, I think, is kind of sleeper, to be honest, for CU Boulder coming through here. But also just Fisher. I mean, the incredibly storied team here. So many amateur games, so many tier 2 performances from these players on that roster as well. I think it's going to be a spectacular series so far ahead of us, and that's why this one that we're about to cast 4x4 is my series to look for going into this section of the bracket.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we'll get into that just a little bit in just a little bit. But before we want to do that, we do want to shout out the rest of our sponsors. Thank you so much for making this happen, particularly Gen G. And you'll see the names on top of your screen. We'll read them all. Those are all the people that have donated $100 or more to making this happen, to putting on a broadcast worthy of the CLOL. Like you, Axeman, you said, this is one of the best times of the year, arguably the best time of the year in terms of tier 2 North American League of Legends. And that GoFundMe link you see on the bottom of your screen, head there. The donation links are still open, so you can still help support tier 2 and the CLOL scene, and just the ones that make it possible, the production, us as casters as well, and the players, and the ability to tell their stories in a way that they deserve. Let's get into it, though, for what we're all here to see. Fisher College versus Colorado. UC Boulder, technically. But get those starting lineups on your screen there. Yeah, this one, Axeman, like you said, Fisher, they are the favorites here. Let's not sugarcoat it here. Like you said, on individual name alone, this is this is the Boulder roster.
That ain't Fisher
right now. This is the Boulder roster, but Fisher College, yeah, the favorites. But these players you see on your screen right now are the CU Boulder players. Revy, Muffin Hawker, 2022 top 16. He reached CLOL 2022 in CLOL top 16, in 2022. Saligo in the mid lane, One Tyler, and Heloisia in the bottom lane. Muffin Hawker took a game off Winthrop in top 16 in 2022, but the rest of this roster, relatively green, Axeman, except for one notable exception, and LCS enjoyers may recognize Saligo. Yes, that one. He is the mid laner for CU Boulder.
Yeah, it certainly is. Saligo, former LCS. Heloisia was on a Game Changers team there as well in the past LCS Game Changers events. So pretty cool roster coming through here. My favorite fun fact about this is that the highest ranked player on this team is one Tyler. But as far as we can tell, no amateur experience or anything like that. Guy's just quietly very, very good in solo queue. But like you said, Muffin Hawker been in the game for quite a while. The rest of this roster, I believe, is just joining recently this past January. But they have all come to find home at Colorado University at Boulder, nestled in the heart of the Rocky Mountains, a beautiful university from everything I've heard. And Boulder, of course, quite the vacation destination in and of itself. It's this college and then UCSD, UC San Diego. I think I just love to visit. You have to imagine those campuses are pretty nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Colorado, that's up in your neck of the woods, up in the mountains, Axe.
It sure is.
You are very much a mountain time zone enjoyer. The next roster we want to talk about, though, that is Fisher College. Like you said, Colorado, they've been in CLOL a long, long time, but it really wasn't. I mean, they were one of the last rosters, or one of the last teams voted in by the community, and to the surprise of many doubters, they 2-0'd UT Dallas in the round of 32. And I wouldn't say they just straight up blasted them, but it was a pretty dominant and convincing 2-0. Axe, you got to watch it on Sean Tonan's stream of Illinois Wesleyan fame and other fame as well. They looked really, really strong. But now they're going up against Fisher and Axe for all the plaudits that CU Boulder deserves. And for all that they are playing with house money and really with nothing to lose here, this is a very tough ask. Fisher College, their roster is as follows for the CLOL national championships: Jenkins, Keel, Saranac, DMK, Dragon, Min Kim, and Boom. And the roster did go through a change, right? In NECC, they went through that with a certain roster, but then going into playoffs, Jenkins and Poom swapped in, and Jenkins and Poom, again, LCS enjoyers will know these two names. Jenkins of TL fame and Poom played at 100 Thieves for a little bit there. Jenkins and Keel also on TLC, Team Liquid Challengers in NACL as well. But Saranac and Dragonman, Kim, DMK are the other ends of that roster. Axeman, on experience alone, I think that's really what stands out to me for Fisher College is, look, these guys are playing with each other, a few of them for the first time, but there are some pre-existing synergies here. But on name alone, Fisher College is who I'm looking at to be the disruptor of the big boys, of your Maryville, SLU, Ole Miss, Winthrop, right? They are the ones that I can see crashing that party.
Yeah, they're a heavy hitter. They absolutely are. This roster is incredible. A laundry list of T2 organizations, LCS organizations there as well that these teams, these players have played for. And also a team that's kind of closer to my heart. I used to catch DMK on CCG last year all the time. Incredible player. I believe he was playing jungle for them. This guy is a Lee Sin main, so I'm not really sure what he's pulling out for us here in the bottom lane, but a very, very high caliber player. And I'm sure he's got something in store for us. But with that, 4x4, I think we're moving into the match here a little bit. You got to take me through this one.
Yeah, there is one matchup that I wanted to highlight. I mean, CU Boulder against, like I said, going up there, they're underdogs going up against Fisher College. But this is a team that has a very self-professed play style, which is we play through mid, right? Saligo is the name on that CU Boulder roster. And going up against Saranac, we've got a little bit of a head-to-head graphic here we wanted to show you. Saligo, 2 games on Talia. Saranac on the Talia as well, so expect that to be a contested pick, but 1 game on the Vagar as well. And some of these stats tell the story of, you see, again, things like the KDA, inflated a little bit by assists, but KDA and that kill participation as well, especially. You see how much of CU Boulder's game plan runs through this guy right here.
Yeah, you absolutely do. The DPM especially sticks out to me. Anytime you're pushing 1,000 DPM, it's like, oh man, this guy is hard carrying this team for sure. That KDA is out of this world as well. For CU Boulder's mid laner, so you're looking at like Fisher's mid laner. I guess maybe it's just that like other weapons, right? Like a lot of weapons on this team. I think I believe coming into it, the round of 32 matchup, you said that their bot laner had a 12-0 Jin game. So maybe we'll just chalk the damage numbers up to that for Saranac. But for Saligo, 100% the head carry in charge on Boulder.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is another thing to talk about for Fisher, is that with people like Jenkins in the top lane against someone with LCS experience and that can play your meta stuff as well as anybody, but can be the carry threat as well. And like you said, DMK, multi-positional man, he had a 12-0 Jin game in game 1. So the bottom lane is as well a really fun spot to watch. But as we zoom out here a little bit, we're going to get into the game here. But before we do, we've got predictions, Axe. And you and I submitted ours, combination of last night and this morning. I think we'll get those on the lower third here. But I would love to see it upset. I would love to see 5 games. I would love to see CU Boulder take this. But as far as our production crew is concerned, we are consensus Fisher, except for PBS going with it for a Colorado Boulder 3-1, which wouldn't stun me, but it would really surprise me.
Yeah, you're also all on consensus almost at the 3-1 mark. I gotta say, cowards, come on. If you're gonna predict, you gotta predict it's Fisher 3-0, baby. Fisher and 3.
Yeah, I think I could see, again, one, if Saligo is able to, again, on the Talia, get out of lane, affect bot lane dives and things like that, get his bottom lane going, get Heloisia, there we go. Heloisia, excuse me. I'm going to butcher that a couple times. And one Tyler rolling in the bottom lane. Again, you want to talk about DMK and the game that he had. Heloisia, a phenomenal game on the Ezreal, and an even better one on the Kai'Sa. 11 kills as well in round of 32. We are ready to roll, though, to get into draft, which should be coming up here in just a little bit. Axeman, the Talia, that's really the priority pick for me that we will see. I mean, it'll dictate a lot of how this game is going to go. And again, with Saligo being on that red side, it certainly lessens the possibility that he's going to be able to grab that. But the Galio is going to be the first thing taken away here, which surprises me a little bit in the sense that we talked about the DPM numbers for Saligo and how much he has to be the big carry in this game. But more than a carry, he's a facilitator, right? He gets out of lane, he affects the side lanes, he affects his other members, and that's how this Colorado Boulder team rolls.
100%. I'm going to call my shot here, 4x4. I don't think Saranok has Talia to answer back here with the first pick, blue side. I think they got to ban it out. I think it's got to be in the ban list this first 3, or it's just a lock for Saligo.
Well,
might have gotten those backwards.
No,
the S name's already catching me out.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see here. The Renekton going to be taken away. The Rumble as well. Rumble for sure, one of Jenkins' more popular picks. And the Kennen going to be banned away immediately as well.
Yeah.
Jenkins, a monstrous series earlier, or last weekend, I should say, against Ball State. They blasted him 2-0. And the Kennen was a massive, massive pick. I think he went deathless in both games, if my memory serves me correctly. The Talia is, in fact, on that ban list. And Revy having his Renekton taken away as well. That was something he played. I think Revy, Muffinhawker, and Saligo got Renekton, Rek'Sai, Renekton, Jax, Talia in both of their games against UT Dallas. And like we said, that was a dominant upset, so they're not going to let them pilot those at all. But CU Boulder as well, taking a look at what Fisher did and countering that in the bans.
100%. After these first few bans, we got a wide open bot lane so far, so that might be the difference maker coming through here. Want to talk about some bot lane stuff. First off, double marksman in the bot lane, double lethality marksman is very, very strong. I'm thinking Ashe support. I'm thinking Callista down there too. These should be the first oh jeez, okay, so coming through immediately. But that Ashe banned away means it won't be the object coming through so far. Corky locked in, maybe a Tom Kench for the Senna.
Yeah, I think you'll see that Tom Kench, right, like you said, alongside the Senna, and I'm not surprised as well that the Ashe was banned away. Both Puma and DMK have played that, like you said, the double lethality marksman, the double marksman in the bottom lane. That's certainly a way you could operate here. Skarner will be the lock in here. Could take that top lane, could take that into the jungle, so they're maintaining that flexibility, our Fisher, on that blue side. But on the other side, Saligo, a champion with some mobility, with a lot of playmaking, and with, of course, just brick tons of damage. DMK going to be on the Jinx as well, Axe.
Yeah, Jinx coming through. I think that's a pretty similar champion to Jan. I think that makes sense for DMK for that lock-in. Like the Corky coming through here as well. He should still have his package on this patch. They're removing that in a couple of patches here. They just announced that recently. I think it's pretty sad, man.
Wow, I did not hear about that. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I did not know that. That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's been a thing for like 8 years or something. They're reverting it. But Nautilus coming through, Oriana here as well. Really good support staff so far for what has been a Fisher hyper carry composition. You got lots of good CC to build up this Jinx and to keep divers off the Jinx as well.
Yeah, no, and obviously with Skarner being reworked, right, with the way he can, I mean, he's made of peel, essentially, right? And he's so tough to deal with. He deals a lot of damage as well. TF going to be taken away here. So potentially calling the bluff, saying that Keel might take that into the jungle, which I wouldn't be surprised. He's a Rek'Sai enjoyer, played that in games 1 and 2, or I should say last weekend. And, you know, you could function similar sort of ways, right? Rek'Sai, not kind of the damage dealer that she used to be. You're playing her a little more as a tank these days. Oriana is going to be what Saranac is playing here. So again, with that Talia off the board, it's really changed up how these mid laners want to play because they got their pick on the Talia. They were allowed to kind of run riot in their previous series. Fisher against Ball State, CU against UT Dallas last weekend. But not going to be the case this time around. But I'm still looking for, again, how do these mid laners face off one against one another? Not necessarily in terms of getting advantage in the lane, but in terms of moving across the map.
Certainly is in terms of moving. Interesting draft so far from CU. I feel like if we're picking Senna early, it's got to be the Tom Kench following it up here. And they're kind of doubling down on these hyper carry marksmen with the Corki coming through as well. The Nautilus pick really surprises me, but we'll get some more picks coming through in just a little bit. Should be a red side pick for CU. Maybe a jungler, I would think.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, Muffin Hawker, he can play to the meta, your Vi, your Jax, your Jhin, right? He played 2 games of Jax last weekend, but he also in solo queue, he's known to be a bit of a chef. I heard rumblings of a Zeri jungle game. Feel bad for anybody else that was in that game. I don't think we will see that here, but he's not afraid to. And again, you're playing kind of with house money here. There's 2 schools of thought. One, you go out in a blaze of glory, try to throw a wrench in the plans of these Fisher players, or you play by the book, you stick to the script, and indeed that is what he's going to do. It will be the Xin Zhao, and taking away that Tom Kench, like we sort of thought was going to go with the Senna, but instead they're opting for that Nautilus, and now you've got a little bit of engage, you got the follow-up, there's a good amount of CC here, shielding over the top here, but on the other side, Jenkins, I imagine, will be on that Camille, and will hit the R5 with the Ornn for Revy.
Man, oh man. 4x4, that is a lot of information to take in really quick. So we got the Tom Kench coming through, which should be support, right? Yeah, for the Jinx, but I guess maybe they're picking it away from CU, thinking that the Nautilus was going somewhere else. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe they just want Tom Kench. I mean, it's a strong pick, and it definitely plays into their identity as a hyper carry composition. You're going to be saving that Jinx from a lot of damage with your ultimate, and the Camille coming through here as well. Very interesting to draft in this circumstance. I guess as a blind pick, it's probably fine, right? I mean, Jenkins could take this into just about anybody, but Revy with the Ornn to neutralize here a little bit. Both of these compositions seem like they're trying to do very similar things.
I mean, you've got a hyper-scaling AD carry, right? You've got a bruiser and a tank as far as the junglers are concerned. But, but I think both these compositions want to fight front to back, right? You've got a beefy support and a lot of damage coming through in the bot lane. I think you do have a bit more of that carry threat. Jenkins in the top lane, right? But I think that's going to be the lane to watch for me. Again, we highlighted Saligo versus Saranac, but you cannot ignore Jenkins. You saw why he got the 2 bans thrown at him initially, and again, that TF and that Gnar ban as well. So he's going deep into his pool. Axeman, we are getting into game here, so we'll get that up on the screen for you just as soon as it is ready. But Axe, I'm nervous about this Fisher draft, or I'm nervous up for CU, I should say, in regards to this Fisher draft, because you gave Jenkins something that he can carry on, and it's a pretty decent matchup into the Ornn here.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I'm kind of nervous about my 3-0 prediction, man. It feels like CU Boulder are looking pretty good coming out of the back of this draft. But I will concede, yes, Fisher looked very scary on the champions that they have drafted as we get on to Summoner's Rift.
Here we go, into the round of 16 we go. Fisher College, 3rd seed out of the NECC. Boulder, 5th seed out of a loaded West Conference, and showing that they belong with a 2-0 dominant sweep over UT Dallas. Jenkins and Poole, again, they are the new additions onto this roster. Hang on a second here, in a little bit of trouble here is Keel. One Tyler and company rolling up and getting first blood for Hawker. Boulder strike first.
Interesting stuff coming through so far. The first blood will go down onto Muffin Hawker. Also, we didn't point this out. One Tyler on the Nautilus. Heloisia actually picking up the Senna there too. So it's going to be Heloisia dealing the damage coming through on your screen. I gotta say, I like a Nautilus with some gold. This should be fun stuff, but first blood down to Hawker will mean that they have a lot of pressure coming through here in the early ganks.
Yeah, this is really interesting here, because I thought we were past kind of the days of your, the tank supports being piloted by your AD carries, taking that teleport. That was something we saw a little bit more often a couple of months ago, but it is CU Boulder, and they are being the aggressors here. They're playing something that they feel gives them the best shot here. Jenkins in a little bit of trouble here as well early on. And it looks like we might have a lane swap here as well, as One Tyler roaming up there, probably going to be followed by Heloisia.
Yep, lane swaps coming through here. One Tyler. He's pretty wide open in terms of what he can do, but he'll be trying to push this wave in as fast as he can. Saligo caught out. Jenkins got him.
Now Saligo in some trouble here. Serenok with the follow-up damage. One more auto should do it, and Jenkins punches back. We're playing street ball here early, Axeman.
Holy cow, that's a top laner in the mid lane, by the way. What are we doing? Following the jungle around the jungle. Jenkins going to walk back in and try to defend some of these camps. We'll see how it breaks down.
Yeah, he's, I think, going to have a tough time of it here. Now, thankfully, I mean, Jenkins, right, he was able to get that first kill, so that 0 CS isn't really going to matter a ton here. And Lure going to grab himself, you know, a little bit of extra XP as well when things start to settle down just a little bit more here. We'll see where everybody wants to go here. I think a recall is being attempted here, and Lure won't get it. Licked by Poom. Hawker is level 3, though, so he's kind of big here. Again, no items. That's not going to make a huge difference. A Missile Dive comes through. Keel going over the wall. Ooh. Body slamming him into the jungle. Hawker able to get out for now here. Going back in onto Jenkins, but will not be able to get enough damage. Tyler in with the hook on the other side. The root lance from Heloisia. Bob Jenkins in a little bit of trouble here. There goes the Abyssal Dive. Going to protect him from Tyler. Keel will not get caught there by the root. It is a bloodbath, but somehow only one kill has gone over.
Yeah, no kills in that fight. It's just the mid lane gank in the first blood so far in this game. Everybody makes it out of this fight alive for Y4. I gotta tell you, this meta makes both our jobs very difficult. Let's talk about who's accelerated by this. First and foremost, it's one Tyler. Hey, I don't know, folks. That's up to you at home. But also DMK fully accelerated as well, hitting these plates down bot side. Saligo taking damage now. Keel's behind him.
Keel's right behind him, and he has absolutely no idea, but able to W himself into safety. The Valkyrie coming in to rescue, but this might not be over here. Hawker, he doesn't feel he's strong enough to help out. He goes in, but it's too little too late. Serenok grabbing himself a kill. Hawker, he'll go down. Whoa! Keel with another kill. 3-1 Fisher early on.
Holy cow, I tried to point out who this is accelerating. It seems like it's just the jungler so far, picking up all these kills, and again, a couple levels through there too. The top laner's kind of left out to dry by the lane swap meta, but that's okay. Support Camille is just fine for Jenkins. He's roaming around the map, getting kills for his team as much as he can. Meanwhile, this Nautilus is getting pretty big, but I gotta say, it feels like DMK is getting the most value out of this.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten himself a couple of plates here, and that's kind of why you want to do it, right? I mean, when the changes were made to the plates and they became less valuable, that was kind of the defense against this sort of thing. But look, money is money, and the AD carry getting that accelerated. Look, both these comps, like we talked about in draft, they want to play for late. They want to play front to back. They have 2 hyper-scaling AD carries, but you can still make plays. You can still look for advantages early on to accelerate your key points, right? And whether that's scrapping for your top side or getting plays for your bottom side, both these teams have opted into that here.
You like to see it so far. 4x4. It should be like a burn item coming through for one Tyler on this first one. I like the hollow one, the MR one a little bit. I'm not sure if he's gonna opt for that, as there's a lot of physical damage coming his way very soon. So it might be the armor one coming through here to burn the minions down around him. We see that bot lane from CU roam up into the middle lane, potentially trying to catch out Serenok, but just kind of standing around. Looks like they're on a smoke break.
Yeah, well, Serenok, I mean, playing it very intelligently here, staying on the other side of the minions, but now might be in a little bit of trouble here. One Tyler able to land the hook here, gets the root down as well. Last embrace will be indeed the last embrace for Serenok. Keel will get the kill. That's Saligo, excuse me.
Oh, that 3-0 prediction does not look very safe right now. Keel comes in, he's got
with the initial impact. Boom, helping out here, gets 2 stacks up the acquired taste down, but Heloisia able to get some damage down, but that root's still on a very long cooldown. Hook shot over the wall from Bob Jenkins. Keel in some trouble. Saligo, will he survive? He doesn't have level 6. He can't missile barrage from downtown just yet. Last embrace comes out on cooldown, and CU Boulder right back in, and 2 kills for Hawker. Keel kind of low. Boom, not able to get the lick down. Looks like we will have this fight a bait for now. Dragons, or excuse me, Grub started up. Super Mega Death Rocket coming in over the top. It will not land on Lure. Not able to interrupt his TP. First Grub goes over to Hawker.
Revy teleporting down to the bot side, trying to defend this turret. Meanwhile, his team's going to start working on the Grubs. They'll get 1 down. We'll keep track of that as it progresses here. Boom looking for a way in. Jenkins showing up here too, but those are the support staff. You need a carry up here, and that is DMK. so far, it looks like CU Boulder in control of the map. There's a little bit of a gold differential, and Fisher have that, but I mean, it's all going to DMK, and he's not unlocked on Summoner's Rift, right? He's got to stay in this lane, got to continue farming to keep ahead. In the meanwhile, Boulder are going to get everything on the map.
Yeah, they've gotten themselves back into this one. I mean, the lead was at 1,000 gold, pretty much out of nowhere because of all the shenanigans early on. Heal, so there's Hawker here now. Hawker, he really has set up almost permanent residency inside Keel's jungle, but now the Abyssal Dive not going to find its mark, but Hawker has to burn the flash. That is big. That's not going to be up by the time he hits level 6. And when the dragons come up and you want to fight around those objectives, the flash ult is such a key thing. Key combo in the Xin Zhao's toolkit.
4x4, there's a big scythe hanging over the necks of CU Boulder right now. And as soon as DMK takes this turret, that scythe will drop. It is, there's a reckoning coming, my friend. Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and stop that scythe from dropping right now. Reset comes through the Jinx. Let's see what he buys. He's already got tier 2 boots. Thinking maybe he's going to get quite a few components. Maybe the full item. We'll see. Noon Quiver comes through for him, and he's back onto the map. But one Tyler Heloisia, they're here to defend that bottom turret. Might be difficult for DMK to get through it.
Yeah, maybe. See, I think the lanes are kind of eating back out. Everything's a little more standing right now here. But one Tyler, like you said, he's kind of thick though, right? Heloisia will have a bit of a range advantage in some situations. Maybe not actually quite yet, right? Especially if Jinx is in the chance for him. But I think one Tyler and Heloisia, they are very happy to just kind of sit back and play some safer stuff. One Tyler, I'm probably don't see much from like Isa. He loves that kind of all-in style of champions. But I guess you can't go all in on the Nautilus. A lot of Nautilus's most famous trips on Summoner Rift are one-way trips. But either way, Dragon started up here by Hawker and company, taking them down with ease. They're up 1-0 here, and the neutral objectives, they have gone over to CU Boulder, and it's been part of what's keeping them in this game, despite the gold lead ballooning for almost 1,000 here for Fisher. And to your earlier point, Axe, you can look right at that bottom lane for where the majority of that is coming through, as well as the top.
Deal with fighting your big ult.
Oh, there's the Impale. Over the top here, Heloisia not going to be level 6 yet, but the Ignite does come down onto Hawker, try to help out just a little bit. The Crescent Guard went out early, and it almost just delayed the inevitable. Soligo takes the Shockwave, but is able to answer back with the Missile Barrage, taken very, very low, below 100 HP, and will survive. Going to recall in a much safer location.
Oh, rocket!
Oh, the Super Mega Death Rocket! DMK got turret plate after turret plate, but now he's on the board with his first kill of the game.
That's an excellent ping from Serenok that leads to this kill. Pinged right on top of Soligo despite not having vision. DMK is happy to oblige. We mentioned there was a reckoning coming for CU Boulder, and man, oh man, did it ever come. 3K gold up now. A lot of that down on the Dragonman Kim and onto Serenok there too. Exciting stuff for Fisher fans at home. The boys are up.
Yeah, the boys are up, and the boys are up big now, right? I mean, at the 10-minute mark, about a 2,500 gold lead. Yes, those neutral objectives are going the way of CU Boulder, but Fisher very happy to just do their own thing here. And we talked about the hyperscaling bottom lanes, but one thing you also mentioned is, look, Jenkins, right? He is kind of the X factor for Fisher for me, right? I mean, where a lot of different teams can play, you know, your standard kind of 2024 comps. You take a bruiser in the top lane, but I mean, Jenkins has such an ocean of things that he has learned to play successfully over his years at the various levels in the LCS, in Tier 2, at the CLOL level. He was called in to essentially be the sub and be the new top laner for this Fisher roster as the NECC playoffs started. They took a game off Winthrop, lost in top 4, and then rolled through, beat UIUC to secure 3rd place in the conference. But Jenkins, 4 bans were thrown at him in draft, and he said, that's okay, I'll bust out the Camille. And so far, up 20 gold, or up 20 CS, and about 1,000 gold as well, right? Not the end of the world for the Ornn, but that's the scary thing about Fisher, Axe, is that they can kill you
Keel
with so many different angles. Keel lurking over the wall, like you were alluding to. I think Heloisia and company throwing down the shroud, saying, you know what? We got what we came for. We got that 5th grub. Wait, we hit that break point. No use sticking around here. I don't know why they're hovering like they are, DMK and Poom, but we don't want to be any part of it.
For this CU Boulder squad comes highly acclaimed by analysts in the scene, and you can definitely tell why. They're down a tremendous amount of gold at 11 minutes, but it would matter if a lot of these fights were fair, but CU Boulder have done very, very well at making sure the fights are not fair, that they always have a man up, that they always have better positioning. around the map, and that has meant every single neutral objective that has spawned on Summoner's Rift so far has gone to Boulder. It's just the one grub that they've intentionally left up for a little bit of tempo here that Keel's going to be able to take off of them. That means that things are pretty even on Summoner's Rift, and honestly, if Boulder are able to keep up the positioning the way they have, I would give it maybe over to them, saying that they are in the lead a little bit here.
Well, I mean, they certainly have the scaling, right? But, I mean, what has impressed me about Boulder right now is, like you said, as far as the neutral objectives are concerned, they're able to get in. They had good enough vision beforehand. They're able to get in, get the objectives, and get out. Because especially when Jinx hit that Kraken Slayer, when she got that Lost Chapter, or not the Lost, the Noon Quiver, the break points where the damage was actually coming in actually favored Fisher, in my opinion. But Boulder didn't opt into fights that they didn't want to take, right? And with the scaling on their side, they know that, okay, come the later 5v5s, they've got an advantage. But Soligo might not be long for this world here, Axe. The Shockwave isn't back off cooldown, but the ult goes down from the setup. Crest Guard coming in. Hawker making a huge play here and getting the shutdown over to Soligo. Blew the flash, no problem. Wind becomes lightning, and the kill goes into the pocket of Hawker. Make it 2. They tie it up, Axe.
It's just like we were saying, 4x4. That wasn't fair, right? Senna's going to ult me from across the map, and suddenly my perfect play evaporates in thin air? No, that's exactly the CU Boulder difference. This is not a fair fight. You are not playing against a regular League of Legends team. These guys are totally out of this world. One side with this teleport back in Q immediately. Hyper aggression suddenly from the bot lane of Boulder.
The solo laners will do their dance here in the mid lane. Dragon up in 20 seconds will be the second one of the game. We'll see what it ends up being here, but now the bottom lanes have swapped up to that top side. Herald going to be spawning here in just a little bit as well, so I think that's really the main prize for these two teams because the momentum, it feels like, has shifted. Hang on a second here.
No way.
Coming out, but a fantastic dodge there by Jenkins.
Wow.
Popped the Hextech ultimatum at the perfect time and hook shot at his way to safety. Blew the ult, blew the flash, but he's alive.
Excellent call there. 4x4, big hooks on the backing target.
Ooh,
teleport now.
TP coming in, and Jenkins is here, and he is mad. He's got a Ravenous Hydra, and he's not afraid to use it. Oh, no, root lands, and that big play is not going to matter here. But Hawker going to grab himself.
Look at the other side.
Yeah, another neutral objective for his team, but on the other side here, now, I wonder if they'll contest this. I really don't think they will. I think they're happy to sacrifice that Herald in favor of the Dragon stacking here. Again, Boulder playing for the long game, but not going quietly into that good night. It's not death by 1,000 cuts just yet by Fisher here. Shockwave going to land there onto Heloisia. In a little bit of trouble here. Gets the healing down. When becomes lightning, lands here. Boom, gobbles her up, but it will not be enough, I don't think. Boom, in a little bit of trouble here. Sarah not going to get some help from Keel here. In with the external impact. Heloisia has departed from the fight, and Hawker will be the sacrificial lamb, but he can take down Boom. He cannot, because Tom Catches are nigh unkillable.
They certainly are. Jenkins finds Revy on the flank.
Going in again, using that Eon cooldown. Keel making Ixtal's impact felt. Indeed, has to blow the flash to get out of there, does Lure.
Game's blown wide open now. Fisher decently out in front, but Colorado University have been here before 4x4. It's not something they aren't used to. DMK maybe caught out. I think Soligo could run him down. A few members of Fisher are off the map right now, so he's going to play safe, back up, and take the wave, continue building up that scaling. But I got to tell you, as effective as Fisher have been so far in this game, 4x4, they have not really negated the scaling from Colorado University. It seems like Soligo is fine. It seems like Heloisia is fine building up these items, and I don't think that Fisher are going to be in control of this game very much longer. I think this first big fight over this third dragon here is going to be where the game really breaks open.
I agree with you. I think it's where we're going to see the first big 5v5, but we have had just scraps all over the Rift here, landing right on the choppers. Heloisia going to try to bail out one Tyler with the Dawning Shadow. Last Embrace not going to let. Oh, just kidding. That was not aimed at Boom. That was aimed at DMK, and thank goodness it was, because he might have had a beat there onto one Tyler, down to about a third HP. Blew the Aftershock, blew everything else, but Heloisia using the range advantage and helping out her support, AD carry, her bottom lane teammate.
Yeah, something like that. Soligo still building up the lead up topside here. Man is absolutely eating waves. Where now for Serenok, you'd have the most CS in this game right now. Rift Herald started up by Serenok and Poom. One of their first neutral objectives, you recall, the Rift Herald was interrupted earlier. Keel was not able to take that one down. They'll get this one all right.
Yeah, they'll be able to grab this one, right? I think they started up initially, but then shenanigans broke out, as it has tended to do. But Saligo going in. He doesn't have his flash either, at least not for another 10, 15 seconds maybe. That's because he's got backup here. Heloisia coming in under the shroud, the cover of darkness, but will not find anyone. But they got that Herald Axe, man, and that, I think, again, you want to talk about how Fisher can maybe, like, really exert their control here, right? Get a stranglehold on this game. It doesn't feel like they are in control here, right? It's been a bit of a scrappy game. I still favor Fisher. I still like their comp and more. And honestly, I trust these players to play out this style of composition, right? To play something that, yeah, it's a little more front to back, but you've got carry threats from all over the place. The Herald can be that big, you know, that kick in the behind that you might need. Depends on where they place it, obviously, but that mid-tier one is looking ripe, and you see how much attention is being paid there, right? DMK has been camping out in the mid lane pretty much this entire mid game, trying to get that shove in, trying to get that priority to knock down that tier 1. I think it's just a matter of time, or at least that's what Fisher are hoping here. Meanwhile, CU Boulder still very much looking to, yeah, again, fight front to back, and I think they're just happy to scale and wait for that dragon fight.
Yeah, I think Fisher in a position right now where they're saying, all right, look, all this lane swap stuff is coming through. That's fine. We're the more experienced team. As soon as it all levels out, then we'll level up. We'll win this game over. The problem with that is 4x4 is that if they're waiting for the late game for the experience to really give them an edge over CU Boulder, it'll already be too late, right? I mean, the scaling coming through is going to hurt Fisher in this late game. The Rockets aren't quite there yet for Saligo, but they are coming, right? And he's got that first strike in the runes there too. So 2-3 items, Saligo's going to be able to carry this game, and Fisher don't really have the time to wait.
Here they go. They do, in fact, rip that Herald into mid lane tier 1. Boom in the driver's seat, and the Herald just gets torn apart immediately. Heloisia, Hawker, and one Tyler ready for it, but it's kind of about setting up for that dragon. DMK ready to rip into those minions, and like you said, Axe, on 2 items, right? That's when Corki starts to really get rolling. The Maw and the Mana Moon, that's kind of a tale as old as time with Corki. Win the last 2 seasons anyway. Keel might have found a way in there. Isn't going to go in. Hawker, though, that's his go button. He still's got his flash, but the Crescent Guard pops. Really didn't get much out of it. Not sure who maybe was or wasn't on the same page there. I was waiting for the TP from Revy or something for the Call of the Forge God to come in. Jenkins might have the big old flank, and indeed it looks like he will.
Revy
goes in with the hook shot, force the flash out of Heloisia. Here comes the Call of the Forge God by Revy in over the top. TP coming in, no one dead just yet. Keel gets the impaled out onto Hawker, but the damage will not be enough because Keel doesn't die. That Heartsteel stacking up, and it doesn't matter. Hits him with the empowered auto, rips Hawker off the map. Big Shockwave will mop up the rest. Kill over to GMK. Another one as he mops one Tyler off the map. That's the scrap they were looking for. That was the break point they wanted to fight on.
Hey, we said it was going to be around the 3rd dragon. We were absolutely correct, 4x4, but it's the package. It's Saligo. Some low health bars on the side of Fisher.
Jenkins able to get the Hextech ultimatum off, but he will go down thanks to the CC from Revy. Jenkins is off the map here, but DMK is just free-firing Axe. Jinx isn't excited just yet, but it's not going to take much. Revy will survive, but not much for longer. Finally, the slow comes in from the Rockets there. Another kill, and one Tyler getting in there. Again, these low health bars, they are low. This is not a support Nautilus. Remember, he's got an item and a half. He's been CSing, but DMK gets over the wall, and DMK will take that.
That's a tragic result here for CU Boulder. So close. And you can see the victory for Saligo just through a couple of connected rockets, but was not able to get them down. Really good body blocking from Poom to make sure those rockets aren't connecting with the backline carries. But their efforts will pay for them 4x4. That dragon, the 3rd dragon on Summoner's Rift, still stays up. It could be for CU Boulder. We'll have to see if they can push their way onto it. It's going to be tight, man, but everybody's back on Summoner's Rift.
Everybody's back, and I think, again, I still kind of favor where Fisher in these fights. 2.5 items. Excuse me, 2.5 items for DMK, but no summoners, really. Now, pick here onto Heloisia. Doesn't have a flash. Now, Saligo in some trouble here. Doesn't have a flash of his own. Valkyrie already blown. Good body block there by one Tyler, and the heal comes in from Heloisia. And now, full control, full health bars, no summoners, no problem. Still got the Shockwave, still got the Hextech ultimatum, and they will get their first dragon of the game. Fisher College back in the driver's seat. Shockwave doesn't land onto one Tyler, but boom. Is not dissuaded by the fact that the Shockwave doesn't land. That's enough for them to take down that first tower. One stack of the acquired taste going down. Saradoc kind of hits Axeman. There he goes with the Ixtal's impact. Keel not able to find a mark onto Hawker. Heloisia, under the cover of darkness, able to skirt on over to safety.
Saradoc is slaughtering CU Boulder right now. Poom with the picks. Oh!
My goodness. I mean, they are just keeping their feet on the gas there. Poom fears neither man nor God. He is just going forward, making sure that CU Boulder know that jungle, it might be theirs in name, but they want to make sure that it is theirs in name and name only. Jenkins, meanwhile, making his presence felt in the side lanes as well. And that's something else to look out for, Axe, is as Jenkins gets a little bit bigger, right? He's not the primary carry right now. You see where the kills are spread all over the place. But Jenkins, watch the TP advantages, right? Watch how that Unsealed Spellbook flashes and, scrolls through for Revy, and watch how Jenkins is able to impact these side lanes. He could take pretty much anybody in a 1v1. Maybe not right now. He's still at, again, just about an item and 2/3 here. But if he gets a couple more kills here, it's going to be really, really tough to deal with this Fisher attack that, like we said in draft, like we talked about these players, this is a bit of a Hydra of a team. They can kill you in so many ways.
They really can, and keep in mind Saligo as well, building this Hex tech. This Hex, here we go, he's trying to get away from Keel now. Could get ulted.
Yeah, the Impale not up just yet. Dawning Shadow going over the top, and that might have turned the fight there. Meanwhile, Hawker and One Tyler almost able to get the hook there onto Poom. Keel saying, I don't want to be a part of this one. I don't have Impale, I don't have Ghost, I don't got nothing. I am out of here, and Poom will die. I think that Dawning Shadow Axe, that saved that fight right there. That gave Saligo, oh my goodness, Super Mega Death Rocket, not able to find his mark. But that gave Saligo the boldness to fire back that missile barrage. One Tyler looking for a way in, couldn't quite find his mark with the dredge line. And Shockwave coming back. Keel, all of a sudden, maybe feeling emboldened, but I think gets called off there by Serenok. He says, it's not worth it, man. I know, I see that health bar, but it will not be worth it.
4x4, I'm having a lot of trouble casting this series, man. I'm having trouble not cheering for CU Boulder. These underdogs are fighting so hard in this series to take down Fisher, and they're making progress too, man. They're making some headway coming through here, but every time Hawker goes in for one of these engages, I'm thinking, come on, Hawker, get in there. Go, go, go. But it's very difficult. Just like you said, Jenkins brings a ton of engage potential to this roster, and he hasn't been in a lot of these fights either. But if it's Saligo that has to carry CU Boulder, Jenkins is coming for him in these late-game team fights. You've got to get the items under your belt if you're Saligo. He's got the Malignance, should be in the engage. Hawker going back in.
Hawker, again, you look at the flash, you look at the ult for if Xin Zhao's going to go in, right? You got the Black Cleaver, you got the Sundered Sky. With these types of junglers, you become a bit of a one-button Boris in these fights, right? You are there to create space, and thank goodness they've got Revy and One Tyler isn't made of paper, because otherwise you'd be really worried for how you're going to protect Saligo in these fights, and how you're going to protect Heloisia in these fights, because you've got, to use a technical term, hella backline access if you are Fisher College.
You certainly do here. You mentioned the Dawning Shadow earlier. Heloisia using their experience on the LCS stage from the Game Changers event earlier this year. Really good stuff.
Jacob's actually in a little bit of trouble here. Hook shots over the wall, and the Ignite ticks down to about 100 HP. Has to blow the flash as well. I did not have that on my bingo card, Axe.
Yeah, he's not out yet either. Revy marching up the lane here, too, as the reset comes off. Teleport up for Jenkins, could reposition around Summoner's Rift. We'll have to see. Does look like CU Boulder are pushing for too much. Content to take the resets themselves. Keep in mind, they're still scaling, trying to get as far back in this game as they can before turning things back onto Fisher. Take a look at the gold lead real quick. Up over 5K now for Fisher in their pockets, but I can't help thinking to myself, this is a close game for Y4. It feels like it could go either way at any point here. We've seen the effort put in by both sides. We've seen Saligo drop the rockets down onto Keel, drop the rockets onto DMK. We've seen Revy turn 1v1s back onto Jenkins. It seems like both teams have an equal chance of winning this one.
I think the gold lead is really kind of the only thing separating these well, thank you. That's fantastic analysis by your play-by-play, by the way. The gold lead is the thing separating them. Well, yeah, no dip. But what I mean by that is both these teams want to play out these fights kind of the same way, right? I mean, you've got a bruiser, you've got primary engage, you've got secondary engage, a couple of tanks, a couple of off tanks, and then hyperscaling 80 carries and mid laners that can do sneaky amounts of damage. I do think I give the range advantage to Boulder, but, once DMK gets excited, gets into rocket form, man, Keel just taking no prisoners. I mean, the way he's creating space, the threat that he is posing, it's like that Sun Tzu quote, right? Sometimes the biggest enemy is the threat of the enemy. I didn't get that right, but that's okay. Jenkins in a little bit of trouble here. The stun actually lands onto him, not able to get the hook shot part 2 off. Hawker in with the Crescent Guard. Serenok able to get the ball down, but rips the Shockwave, doesn't quite find its mark. One Tyler in a little bit of trouble here. here, gets the impale down, Revy in some trouble, Dawning Shadow going over the top, and it is not nearly enough because Jinx is excited, and Keel has a hard steal. So guess what? That means that you are toast. Jenkins able to get the sweep down, but it will not be enough to take down one Tyler. Health bar's low at about half health for everybody on the Rift. Heloisia is defenseless, but has the flash should she want to go in here. Serenok in a little bit of trouble, has to take out of the fight, but will be the sacrificial lamb, will Keel. Hawker able to get the kill. TV coming in. That's how long this fight has lasted. Soligo back into the fray. Excuse me, that's one Tyler. My apologies. But DMK from downtown, Steph Curry with the shot, able to get the kill onto Hawker. And on the other side, Soligo trades it back. Axe, these fights, again.
Dude. They're doing it, man. They're freaking doing it. They're taking the dragon down. Now there's a third one for them. I can't tell you what this movement speed means for this composition either, right? I mean, it's huge for Soligo being able to stay ahead of these plays. Also, Heloisia really using that movement speed to move around in these plays as well. They're doing all of these things. It's almost like a magic trick through the strength of the positioning and the range advantage that they have over several members of Fisher. And man, oh man, does this dragon and certainly the soul in a few minutes coming up here would absolutely change the course of this game. But dude, they're doing it. Holy cow, the gold lead is still at 4K, but CU Boulder are winning the fights.
Winning out on the margins here. Heloisia getting involved. Still only at about, an item and a half, though. And I think that's my real concern, Axe, because I hear you, and I'm seeing it on my screen here, but it feels like that little something extra that is needed. It's not like Heloisia, look, if you can't do all the damage yet as a Senna, you're still providing value with the CC, with the shields, with the speed ups, right, with the stealth as well, so you've got ways to be effective, and Heloisia certainly is. Good God almighty, that tower disappeared like a hot knife through butter. Jenkins cuts right through it. The dragon, or the Baron, excuse me, finally started up here. That's been that kind of game, Axe, man. No team has been able to exert complete control over one side of the map for what feels like a little while here. It's been just, okay, you win a fight, then you get the objective. Going down here, Hawker not able to get there in time. That is a Red Bull, or excuse me, not a Red Bull, the Gen G Baron buff, pardon me. The shockwave goes out there. One Tyler getting low here. Heloisia staying alive, dealing damage, but it's not quite enough. Keel is so thick, and more importantly, DMK gets the double kill. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jenkins has completely flipped that matchup on its head. Topping it off, the cherry on top. It's an ace for Fisher College. They have blown it open.
This is deadly for Fisher. They have taken the Baron. Meanwhile, Jenkins is pushed in up into the bottom lane. Death timer is still fairly long. This is going to be at least 2 inhibitors taken down. And now CU Boulder have to get back onto the map with super minions pushing into their base.
Yeah, Axe, this feels like, there's rumors and nails and coffins and rumors of nails in coffins. This feels like it might be the death knell here. Looking at the gold differences across the lanes, 4,000 in the top lane alone. The jungle, pretty even, fair enough. And the mid lane, Soligo's got the edge. But again, I think even coming into the game, you knew that, look, these 111 stacks for Heloisia, that's about where you've got to get her to. And Soligo, he is still the main man here. Hawker stepped just a little too far forward, and Fisher keeping on putting that pressure in the opposing jungle.
Yeah, they're keeping up the pressure right now, looking for a pick. Tyler can answer back.
One Tyler gets the depth charge down. Last Embrace goes out as well. Ready in with the CC. Now Soligo actually getting ripped through here. DMK takes down the Corki, and now she is excited. DMK rips through one Tyler. Heloisia is next on the menu. It's just not fair. Jinx is a menace here. That's 10 kills for DMK. Another ace. Boulder couldn't even so much as peep their head out of their base before Fisher said, surprise, we're still here and we're taking game 1.
Could have told you from minute 3, 4x4, Dragon Kim was always going to be an issue. DMK, holy moly, 10, 1, and 8 on the Jinx, coming at you with 4.5 items on the backside. Wow, this is exactly what we promised from Fisher. Took him a second to heat up. I think CU Boulder's a lot better competition than any of us maybe gave them credit for, except for, what is it PVS? Yeah, PBS who
except for one.
predicted CU Boulder. Still potentially correct there on the 3-1 CU Boulder prediction. But yeah, I gotta say, after that game, really dominant from Fisher, but still not feeling like too good about my 3-0 prediction. Definitely a lot more to offer here on this Colorado University roster than I had anticipated. That was one heck of a game.
It was. No, I mean, it was a ton of fun to cast from the scrappiness in the early and mid games, the lane swaps, etc. But this was kind of, how I expected these games to go. They're kind of a microcosm of it, right? I mean, look, CU Boulder, they will never say this, but it kind of feels like, look, if you upset UT Dallas in that first round, you're not even supposed to be here, right? If you're listening to just the seeding, you're not even supposed to be here. You're just playing with house money, right? Everything else on top of this is gravy. And going up against a Fisher roster that maybe all these 5 pieces haven't been playing together all that long, but on name value alone, on experience alone, this is going to be an uphill battle. And Saligo, you saw that his experience shone through. You saw he was going toe-to-toe with Saranac despite getting killed early, getting a lot of pressure there from Keel as well. Saligo, he's going to have to be the one that drags this team kicking and screaming over the finish line. He's got 2 more games to do it, Axe. Any final thoughts before we send it to a break?
Oh, none from me, man. I think it was really, really well played from CU Boulder from a strategic perspective. I think there were some things with the engages from Hawker that they could work on a little bit here in this next game, and I think that that's going to give them a lot better result. Even looking at like the champion he was playing might have affected that a little bit. Looking forward to game 2. It should be a close one.
Should be a good one. We hope you'll stick around for all of it. This is the only game going on right now, so we got a big old raid from the Salty Runback stream, so we're happy you're all here. We'll be right back with game 2. Don't go anywhere.